You remember when you had a kid or a grandkid that was going through that stage where everything you said, they would say, why? Why? And it would wear you out after a while because you just heard it constantly. Why? 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 And you say, well, now, if you know the answer, you don't really need to ask why, right? I wonder if God ever feels that way when we repeatedly ask, well, why do I need to give 10% of my income to you? Why do I need to tithe? And like a loving, patient parent, he's probably saying, why do you keep asking why? I've told you the answer. You know the answer. It's because I want you to depend on me. I want the gospel to be advanced. I want you to have the joy and fulfillment that comes from giving generously. It's because I want to bless you. And God says, if you don't believe me, just stop asking why and just try it. Put me to the test. Put me under the microscope on this. You see, it's not a tithing issue. It's a trusting issue. He says, test me, try me, trust me. It's a question of obedience. You might be sitting here thinking, well, Dave, you sure are passionate about this. You don't even work at the church anymore, you know? And I am passionate about it because I don't want you to miss out on the faith journey. I don't want you to miss out on the fun. And obedience goes hand in hand with trust. I feel like behind a lack of trust in God is fear. We are afraid that he won't be who he says that he is. And yet we know he will keep every one of his promises. And tithing and giving is an opportunity to put to death our fear and to raise to life our faith in the one who says that he cares for the birds of the air and the flowers of the field. How much more does he care for you? God says, do you trust me? If you do, you'll be obedient. If you as a parent know what's best for your child and your knowledge being so much greater than theirs, if you say, hey, just trust me, aren't you pleased when they just obey and they just trust? And God is the same with his children, except that he is all-knowing. He has all wisdom. And if you understand what it means to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, then you realize that Jesus wants a whole lot more than your money. You do get that, don't you? I mean, he wants your heart. He wants your life. He wants your talents. He wants all of those things. So don't get bent out of shape over the fact he wants your money. How do you think you as his child will respond? Jesus says in John chapter 14, verse 15, he says, if you love me, you will keep my commands. And I'm here to tell you, God's love language is obedience. And when you put him first in your life, with your time, with your possessions, he promises he's up for the test. And he might bless you in non-material ways. It might be with some deep, abiding friendships that you desperately need. It might be with a fellowship like this or a Bible study group. It might be financially. It might be some other way. He might keep your car out of the shop. He might reduce your expenses. He might protect your health. He might increase your pay. He might sustain your household appliances. I don't know how he's going to do it. He is a creative God. The other day I was somewhere and I bought something and I kind of misunderstood what the person said the cost was, and I was paying in cash, and I gave him the money and I started to walk off, and he said, oh, you gave me more than I needed. And he gave me back the extra. What I'm saying is this: if you give God too much, he's honest, he's honorable. He'll return the extra to you. Some of the most joyful and fulfilling moments of my life were not when I received something, it was when I gave something. And most of those times revolved around some initiative here at Southeast, some special project or some special offering or the starting or launching of a new campus. And so many leaders and members in the early days of this church, I don't think we can fathom the sacrifices that some of them made. They were monumental so that the gospel could reach more and more people, both here and around the world. And their stories, I just need to tell you, when I came to Southeast in 1989, the stories of the people before me, it just gripped my heart. And because those stories inspired me, it launched my wife and I on wanting to become more generous in our giving